I married very young. So if I was to think like that, man, I don't know where I would be. I was very, good then, but I'm even better now. So I don't know. I don't know. I gotta say, honestly, we gotta get in. We have to start thinking of
Good save though. I'll give you credit for that. Good save.
well, okay, Sweeney, let me just get my thought out. I think that we have to start relating relationships to business. Like, hey, we're in a business relationship, and the intimacy has to be good. The love has to be there, but we have to be into business. And if we're not evolving economically and thinking as a business in all aspects, not just economically, like as far as leadership, as far as structure, if we're not thinking like that, we as a people have to learn to say, hey, I'm going to detach and find something better so that we can fulfill our own purpose. I was born by myself. I don't believe in to death do us part, honestly.
Okay, it's Mr. Lego next, right? It was
Yeah.
Trev, Ali Lego. All right.
I always say you don't really know a person until something stupid happens. You can't really say you love a person in a relationship until one of you triggered the other person and see how the other person responds to you. So when it comes to discipline isn't proven until anything is presented. It's not just temptation. Any any adverse scenario comes up, that's when you'll easily be able to see how a person responds. So the video, he was just talking about women, but I always say life is so bigger than just a man or a woman or dating or cheating or whatever. It's about parenting. It's about like where you going in life. And if two people are progressing in the relationship, and that usually doesn't happen because they get with each other because they like each other, but they don't really know like how driven the other person is, and that part of being equally yoked usually isn't there. So what usually happens, just like the guy said in the video, you start doing better in life, and then you start being able to see people checking for you, the opposite sex checking for you, right? But my question would be, is the other person not growing with you? In most cases, no. So going back to what Ali said, if that's the case, it is time to go, because at some point you're going to keep progressing and the other person you with ain't, and the shit ain't gonna work out anyway. So you might well let it go before it gets worse. Because if you start feeling temptation to be or date or get attention from an opposite sex that is higher than the person that you're with, you kind of dated on a low ass level. And I always say this: people date on their own level of self-worth. So if you dated this man or woman when you was down here and he's down here, you're naturally going to succumb to temptation if you grow, because that other person ain't growing with you.
I think that's an interesting perspective. It kind of gives reason to why men say they would rather date the woman from Burger King, because at no point will she be at a higher level than you, and mirror some of the sentiment that she just break the relationship because you haven't elevated as far as she has. So I think that's an interesting dichotomy that you are creating. Let's go to Nolan and hear our thoughts.
Discipline isn't proven until temptation. I think that this statement is super straightforward, and I don't have much to say on it, but I have had a couple of experiences. I visited a friend once who moved out of New York and lives really far. So when I got to her house, I asked her, "Why did you come all the way out here?" And she said, "If I had stayed in the city, I would cheat," right? And when she said that, this was a while back, different mindset. My mindset was different. And I processed that information differently than I do now. And I remember thinking, if you're a disciplined person, or, just kind of judging the situation, why would you need to move to do what you need to do or to be good to your husband? But fast forward, a situation that I've been in a dozen times, being in the service industry and at one point managing a bar. I was literally in the exact environment where a lot of men show up and pull money out and spend. And a lot of times I've had men make advances at me. And being in a relationship, I'm not the one to cheat, but that was the perfect environment for me to say that this statement is true. Because, men drink, and um, somebody mentioned that guys will go out with their friends every weekend, and that happens. A bunch of them are together and they want to prove something to each other, and I'm a bag the boss or whatever. And there's been a lot of that. And I think in those situations, I've given myself a boost where I could say, I'm good. No, thank you. I'm good. But that comes with the discipline, and that comes with the respect for my relationship. And of course, I'm not going to allow myself to be in a situation like that at my business establishment. So, yeah, I do think this statement is super straightforward and to the point.
Yeah. Thank you for that. I appreciate yours plus everybody else input. One question I just like people to think about is a man's only value financial, and are there other ways people can elevate that can separate a relationship versus just achieving a new goal in business? Let's go to who hasn't gone yet. Paradise, Casey, Sweeney, Precious, all the four of y'all. So, girl, let's go Sweeney, Paradise, Casey, and Precious.
Paris can go first.
Okay, so all right.
I don't know what's up your little sleeve, sweetie, but okay. Uh, I'm gonna be honest. I think everybody's heart is different, but I always find this particular conversation about loyalty. It always travels back to growth of a partner, and for some reason, it always travels back to the success measured in growth, and that I don't get because my mind goes into team, right? So if life is truly happening the way that it's supposed to be happening at no given time, is it a common phenomenon for you and your partner to be elevated together? Like that's not reality. Most times you probably gonna be doing great, doing upstanding in your career and your all of your eggs and they'll be leveled in the basket. Whereas your partner, they probably going through a lot of things in life. They probably having family issues. They probably, just can't get it right, probably having a hard time at their job. So I don't ever understand the ideology of outgrowing a person you're supposed to quote unquote grow with when you guys are not growing at the same time because realistically speaking, that's just not how life works. Um, I will also say this and I'll shut up. When it comes to loyalty, we always say that cheating is like the most worst thing in the world and it's the easiest way thing to do, but honestly discipline is very hard. And when you have a society of people who are constantly in a realm of practicing juggling other people, men and women, we're not practicing monogamy. You have to honor where a person meets you at when they're meeting their level of discipline. But I will say, for a person to obtain money and it alters their character altogether, not their loyalty. If it alters their character altogether and their loyalty plays a part, you probably want to get rid of that person altogether in the first place. If money made their ego get to the point where they felt like they were better than you, if money made them get to the point where they felt the need to get disrespectful, to be very boastful and bragatory about how they are trying to separate themselves from you, let them go.